everybody, welcome back to the 31 Days of Horror. I am your host, Mood616, and thank you once again for stopping in, guys. Yes, day 20 deuce here on the 31 Days of Horror Volume 5. And yes, we're going to take it back to 1970 with a film called And Soon the Darkness. This is a film that I've always known about, and again, thanks to the fine folks over at Kino, specifically on the Kino Classics line, that they released this film. I absolutely love this line. They're always releasing stuff that I've never seen before. I mean, they release stuff I've seen, but they also release some stuff I've never seen before that I've actually wanted to see, which is really awesome. This movie was actually remade. There was an American remake, I believe, in 2010. Yeah, there was an American release and remake in 2010, which I've actually never seen before, but I do remember when that movie came out. This one right here starring Pamela Franklin, who I knew right away when I popped in the movie. I was like, where do I know that name from? And I looked on the back and it said she starred in The Legend of Hell House. And I was like, you know what? That's not really what I was thinking. And then so I looked up her filmography, and she also starred in Necromancy, which is another film from the early 70s. And she was also in Satan's School for Girls. And I think a couple other ones too. But man, she's like, I don't know, she was kind of like this horror scream queen icon in like the early 70s. Did like not too many horror movies, but she did enough to be recognized, and kind of an underrated actress, really, man. So, but getting into the premise of this one, basically this one's about two British girls who are just bicycling through, you know, the countryside in France, just enjoying a couple weeks vacation and stuff like that. And so this one particular day, the girls, Jane and Kathy, they pull over on the side of the road. They see like a little bit of a forest, and so Kathy, Jane's friend, Pamela Franklin's friend, is tired and she wants to rest, listen to her radio and stuff like that. So they do that, they rest up, and Jane's like, well, let's get going. We need to get to the next town before it gets dark, blah, blah, blah. They kind of get into a little bit of tiff about it. Jane says, well, fuck you. I'm going to go to the next town and wait for you, and I'll meet you there, kind of thing. So, of course, she's waiting there. Kathy never shows up. She goes back to find her, and she's gone. And that's, I'll just leave the synopsis right there. So my thoughts on this one, this is a beautiful film. Really, really beautiful, man. Cinematography was done by Ian Wilson, who did The Crying Game. So big shout out to my man Derek, because I know he's a big Crying Game fan. But yeah, the cinematography is absolutely fantastic in this film. Shot in, you know, the countryside of France, and it's just very, very beautiful. Acting is top notch in this. Pamela Franklin knocks it out the park. All the supporting actors are really, really good in this film too. But the thing that really sells this movie is the mystery of the horror. You know, the thriller aspect of this movie, you know, the big mystery of what happened to her friend Kathy and stuff, and, you know, her trying to figure out by, you know, just trying to talk to these people in France and trying to figure out what happened. But the problem is there's a language barrier, and it really adds to the horror of this, man. It's really kind of freaky when you're trying to figure out something. You're very desperate to figure out something, but you can't communicate with people because they all speak a different language, and everyone's kind of acting strange and things like that. You kind of get this feel that like people are in on this and stuff, but they may or may not be, and stuff like that. It's really great, but it just has this really overbearing, impending doom. It's a very bleak, atmospheric type film, which is very strange and hard to accomplish, because this movie predominantly takes place in the daytime. To accomplish that dark and doom and gloom and very bleak atmosphere during the day is a very tough accomplishment in cinema, because usually those type of things, those type of aspects come with being in the dark. You know, you can create atmosphere in the dark very, very easily. But in the daytime, I give him a lot of credit for that, because this one just has impending doom written all over it. Like, just the desperateness of Jane's character is just so convincing, you know, within the narrative. I just absolutely love the way it kind of breaks itself down. But it's kind of cool, man, because the movie runs about 100 minutes, and there's not really a lot going on besides her trying to figure out what's happening to her friends. So she's constantly going back and forth, talking to people and things like that. And, you know, when you really think about it, there's not really a whole lot happens, but it's very, very entertaining through the whole thing. There's really good dialogue. She actually ends up getting picked up by this one British lady, and they have like some pretty interesting conversations about the history of the town and other women that have gone missing and things like that and stuff. So there's added kind of thrilling parts to it with that and stuff, and then of course, you know, the end comes and it's, you know, it gets all twisted up and shit, and there's a pretty cool twist, and yeah, the movie managed to keep my attention through the whole thing, which is what it's really supposed to do. You know, it's a mystery type thriller. Not a lot of blood and gore and stuff, but really great locations used. And again, you know, just the selling point is the atmosphere used in the daytime, created during the day, is just phenomenal to me. It's really cool. The music's all right in this. There's actually, I don't know if you can hear the song that's playing on the menu right now, but it plays throughout the film. I don't know why they chose this type of music, because when the film opens up, you hear this song, and you're like, what the fuck is this, right? The song doesn't fit the mood of the film whatsoever. It's just so strange, because when the song's not playing, you know, you get this really atmospheric film, but it's very odd to watch and hear. Yeah, you know, it's a good film. I was really in the mood for watching this last night because I just had such a bad day yesterday, just all around, just things in my personal life and just busy, and just everything was just not making for a great day. So I have this weird thing. If I'm in a shitty mood, if I'm in a real down mood, I always like to watch kind of very dark and atmospheric, you know, and bleak films. And this, I didn't realize this was going to be like that. I just, you know, by the synopsis, like, okay. And it turned out to be that, so I just really enjoyed it. But, and Soon the Darkness, I'm going to give this one about a 7.5 out of 10. I think it's a great, solid film. Yeah, definitely worth your time to check out, man. I really enjoyed it. So if you like those type of films, give it a shot. But that is going to do it here for day 22. Check you guys tomorrow in day 23 with a newer film. So check you then. Newses!